Welcome to the Fast Fix channel. My name is Jason, and today I'm putting in a rear and front facing camera in my pickup. And the reason for this is because several years ago I was involved in an accident, and long story short, it was a total arduous process that I don't wish on anybody. I wasn't cited in the accident, I was injured however, and my truck was totaled. As bad as this looks, I actually drove it home, but it was indeed totaled and it sucked. The process took forever, and I really truly don't wish that on anybody. And what would have helped my case a little bit is video evidence on my side. So I want to grab some peace of mind and install my own camera system. That way I can be sure that if this does happen again, I'll be totally protected. Okay, let's get some peace of mind. I found this Rexing V1P at Best Buy. It was an open box item for 135 bucks, but these can be had for under 150. It's got a 4K camera up front and a 1080p in the back. The kit comes with everything you need. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is determine the best place for the forward-facing camera. In my truck, just under the rear view would be ideal. This spot will give a good view of the road ahead, and the rear view will mostly hide the camera, which is what I prefer. The kit comes with a clear electrostatic film that you apply to the windshield first, then press on the camera. It's easy to miss this step, so keep an eye out for that in your kit. Just press for 20 seconds and you're good. Hiding the wiring is surprisingly easy. As you can see, I'm tucking the wires in the headliner using the most logical path to the fuse panel. Use the trim seams to tuck in wire, use the weather stripping, and even remove panels to create a factory-looking finish. As you can see, removing this panel exposed a perfect spot to route the wires directly to the fuse panel. Once our wires are where they need to be, we can route the wires from the rear-facing camera to the front-facing camera. After you've figured out the optimal spot to mount the rear-facing camera, you can begin to think about the best way to route the wires. Using the same method as before, route the wires in the most logical path to the forward-facing camera. Again, make use of the natural seams in the interior and the weather stripping. You will likely have excess wire that you will need to hide. I was able to literally push about 3 feet of wire in the middle upright pillar, and then I just tracked it over to the A pillar of my truck. This should hold true for most vehicles, but if not, be creative and find a good place to rest the wire. Connect the rear camera input to the forward-facing camera, then tuck the remaining wire in the headliner just as before. Whatever wire remains, simply tuck into the A pillar. There should be no wire showing at the end of the install for a factory finish. Now we can move on to connecting the cameras to power. I opted for the hardwire kit because I don't like the idea of loose cords and peripherals taking up space in the 12-volt outlet. We need to define 3 things. We need a fuse that has constant power, a fuse that has switched power, which means there's only power when the key is in the on position, and a good ground. To test for this, to pick up one of these at your local home improvement store, I got mine at Harbor Freight. It's a simple 12-volt circuit tester. All you need is a good ground and then just the pointy end to test. There's a light that will illuminate inside the tool that will tell you if there's power or if there's not. Before starting the installation process, check to see what type of fuses your vehicle utilizes. My truck had both ATO and mini fuses. You can utilize both types to power your camera. I chose to use the ATO fuses because I thought they'd be easier to manipulate, but it really doesn't matter. As you see, my truck uses a 3-blade ATO type fuse, which was not compatible with the 2-blade ATA circuit that came with the kit. So I had to go on Amazon and order 2 3-blade ATA circuit adapters, which were not all that cheap. $10 for just one of these guys. I'll link everything I used in the description, so check that for more details. Being the optimist that I am, I thought I could just unplug the original ATA circuit adapter from the kit and plug in the ones I got from Amazon. But nope, nothing in the wiring world is easy, and I ended up having to clip the end off my ATA circuit and clamp on a compatible connector. Don't be intimidated by this, you can definitely handle it. All of these items can be easily found at your local home improvement store. Connect the circuit tester to a good ground. Now let's test our circuits. First, I'm searching for a fuse that has constant power. I found one pretty quickly, and you can see the light illuminate, signaling that we have found constant power. Next is to find switched power. This is power that is only on when the key is in the on position. Find a fuse that doesn't illuminate the light, then turn your key in the on position. If the light illuminates, you found your switched power. In this kit, switch power to the red wire and constant power to the yellow wire. Unfortunately, there's no standout spot to connect our ground wire, so we'll have to make one ourselves. Fortunately, there's a nice non-painted section of metal near the fuse panel. Use a self-tapping screw to create your own grounding point. You will need a screw gun to accomplish this, but don't be intimidated by this. It's very straightforward. Self-tapping screws are readily available at your local home improvement store. Now that we've figured everything out, we can plug in our out-of-circuit adapters. The 5 amp fuse on top protects the camera, while the bottom 15 amp fuse protects the original circuit. Plan on hitting a few minor fitment issues when wiring. For example, the out-of-circuit adapters had a little too much plastic on the edges, which disallowed the 3-blade plug to fit into the slot. This problem was easily solved by cutting off a small amount of material from the sides using a razor blade. If you're having problems getting yours to fit, compare the out-of-circuit adapter to the fuse you've just pulled from its slot. Find the areas where there's too much material and simply remove it. It's very easy, but make sure you're removing the minimum amounts necessary, checking to see if it will fit with every time you make a modification. A sharp razor blade will help to make this as easy as possible. Okay, all is done that needs to be done, and we can plug everything in. I think it looks great. Now, other than the wiring, this really is a very simple install, and I would encourage everybody to put these systems in their vehicles. That way, you're just going to have that peace of mind and all that insurance that you need in order to prove that you were not at fault. So if this video helped you, please help me and hit like and subscribe. It does a ton for the channel. I appreciate you watching. Have a great rest of the day.